When indoor electrical fittings are installed outdoors, several corrective measures can be taken. Firstly, consider replacing the indoor fittings with outdoor rated fittings. This method offers the most durable and reliable long-term solution. Outdoor rated fittings are designed to withstand environmental elements such as rain, snow, and temperature fluctuations, ensuring a secure and safe electrical connection. To implement this, the existing indoor fittings must be removed. Ensure the power is disconnected to the circuit before beginning any work. Next, carefully loosen and detach the indoor fittings, taking note of how they are connected for proper reassembly with the new fittings. Install the new outdoor rated fittings, ensuring they are properly tightened and sealed to prevent moisture ingress. When selecting outdoor rated fittings, verify that they are specifically designed for the conduit type being used, such as electrical metallic tubing or EMT. Check for Underwriters Laboratories or UL listing to ensure they meet safety standards. Secondly, applying an exterior grade sealant to the indoor fittings is another option. This approach provides a protective barrier against moisture and corrosion, extending the lifespan of the fittings. It is essential to use a sealant specifically formulated for outdoor use, as these sealants are designed to maintain their integrity under varying weather conditions. Before applying the sealant, thoroughly clean the surface of the fittings to remove any dirt, grease, or debris. Use a wire brush or sandpaper to roughen the surface slightly, which will improve the adhesion of the sealant. Apply the sealant generously, ensuring that all seams and connections are fully covered. Pay particular attention to areas where water might penetrate, such as the joints between the fitting and the conduit. Allow the sealant to cure completely according to the manufacturer's instructions. Regularly inspect the sealant for any signs of cracking or deterioration, and reapply as needed to maintain its protective barrier. Thirdly, installing a weatherproof enclosure around the fittings is yet another potential solution. This method provides an additional layer of protection against the elements, shielding the fittings from direct exposure to rain, snow, and sunlight. Weatherproof enclosures are typically made of durable materials such as plastic or metal and are designed to prevent water from entering. Select an enclosure that is appropriately sized for the fittings and provides adequate clearance for ventilation. Mount the enclosure securely to the wall or structure, ensuring that it is properly sealed to prevent water from seeping in. Run the conduit through the enclosure using appropriate fittings and sealants to maintain a watertight connection. Ensure the enclosure is accessible for inspection and maintenance. Keep in mind that while this method offers excellent protection, it may not be the most aesthetically pleasing solution. Evaluating the specific circumstances is important to determining the most suitable approach. Consider factors such as the location of the fittings, the severity of the weather conditions, and the aesthetic requirements of the building. If the fittings are located in a highly exposed area with harsh weather conditions, replacing them with outdoor rated fittings may be the best option. If the weather conditions are less severe, applying a sealant or installing a weatherproof enclosure may be sufficient. If unsure of how to proceed, it is always advisable to consult with a qualified electrician. A licensed electrician can assess the situation and recommend the most appropriate solution based on their expertise and knowledge of local electrical codes. They can also ensure that the work is performed safely and in compliance with all applicable regulations. Electrical codes and regulations vary depending on location. It is vital to comply with all applicable codes and regulations when working with electrical systems. The National Electrical Code or NEC provides guidelines for electrical installations to ensure safety and prevent fire hazards. Familiarize yourself with the relevant sections of the NEC and any local amendments that may apply. Some specific considerations related to outdoor electrical fittings include the use of listed and labeled equipment. Ensure that all fittings and enclosures are listed and labeled by a recognized testing laboratory, such as Underwriters Laboratories or UL. This indicates that the equipment has been tested and meets safety standards for its intended use. Proper grounding and bonding are essential for electrical safety. Ensure that all metal conduit and fittings are properly grounded and bonded to prevent electrical shock hazards. Use appropriate grounding and bonding methods as specified in the NEC. Weatherproof enclosures must be installed in accordance with the manufacturer's instructions and the NEC. Proper sealing and drainage are crucial to prevent water from accumulating inside the enclosure. Electrical work should be performed by qualified individuals. Only qualified electricians should perform electrical work to ensure that it is done safely and in compliance with all applicable codes and regulations. When working with electrical systems, always prioritize safety. To energize the circuit before beginning any work, use appropriate personal protective equipment such as gloves and eye protection, and follow safe work practices to prevent electrical shock and other hazards. By considering these factors and taking appropriate action, it is possible to address the issue of indoor electrical fittings installed outdoors and ensure the safety and reliability of the electrical system. Remember to consult with a qualified electrician if you have any questions or concerns. Also, consider the impact of direct sunlight exposure on electrical fittings. Prolonged exposure to ultraviolet or UV rays from the sun can degrade certain materials, especially plastics and rubber compounds commonly used in electrical fittings and sealants. This degradation can lead to cracking, brittleness, and eventual failure of the fittings, compromising their ability to protect against moisture and corrosion. To mitigate the effects of sunlight, consider using UV-resistant materials for outdoor electrical installations. Some manufacturers offer fittings and enclosures made from UV-stabilized plastics or coated metals that are specifically designed to withstand prolonged sun exposure. When selecting sealants, choose products that are formulated to resist UV degradation and maintain their flexibility and adhesion over time. In addition, consider providing shading or shielding for the fittings to minimize direct sunlight exposure. This can be achieved by installing awnings, overhangs, or other architectural features that block sunlight. Alternatively, you can use purpose-built sun shields or covers designed to protect electrical fittings from UV rays. Regularly inspect outdoor electrical fittings for signs of UV degradation, such as cracking, discoloration, or brittleness. Replace any fittings that show signs of damage to prevent potential safety hazards. Another factor to consider is the presence of corrosive substances in the environment. In coastal areas or industrial settings, electrical fittings may be exposed to salt spray, chemicals, or other corrosive substances that can accelerate their degradation. Salt spray, in particular, can be highly corrosive to metals, leading to rust and corrosion of conduit, fittings, and enclosures. To protect against corrosion, consider using corrosion-resistant materials for outdoor electrical installations. Stainless steel, aluminum, and fiberglass are examples of materials that offer excellent corrosion resistance. When using metal conduit, consider applying a protective coating such as epoxy or zinc plating to prevent rust and corrosion. Select fittings and enclosures that are specifically designed for use in corrosive environments and are resistant to the chemicals or substances present. Regularly inspect outdoor electrical fittings for signs of corrosion, such as rust, pitting, or discoloration. Clean any corroded areas and apply a protective coating to prevent further corrosion. Replace any fittings that are severely corroded to ensure the safety and reliability of the electrical system. In areas with high humidity or frequent rainfall, condensation can form inside electrical conduit and enclosures, leading to corrosion and electrical faults. Condensation occurs when warm, moist air comes into contact with cooler surfaces, causing water vapor to condense into liquid form. To prevent condensation, consider using breather fittings or drain fittings in outdoor electrical installations. Breather fittings allow air to circulate inside the conduit, preventing the buildup of moisture. Drain fittings provide a means for water to drain out of the conduit, preventing it from accumulating inside. Install breather fittings at the highest point of the conduit run and drain fittings at the lowest point to maximize their effectiveness. Ensure that the drain fittings are properly oriented to allow water to drain freely. Insulate conduit runs to minimize temperature differences and reduce condensation. Wrap the conduit with insulation to prevent warm air from coming into contact with cold surfaces. Regularly inspect outdoor electrical fittings for signs of condensation, such as water droplets inside enclosures or corrosion on metal surfaces. Take steps to address any condensation issues promptly to prevent electrical faults. In areas with freezing temperatures, ice can form inside electrical conduit and enclosures, potentially damaging fittings and conductors. Ice formation can occur when water freezes and expands, exerting pressure on the surrounding materials. To prevent ice damage, consider using freeze-protected fittings and enclosures. These fittings are designed to withstand the expansion forces of ice without cracking or breaking. Insulate conduit runs to minimize temperature fluctuations and prevent ice formation. Wrap the conduit with insulation to keep it warm and prevent water from freezing. Use heat tracing cables to keep the conduit warm and prevent ice formation. Heat tracing cables are electric cables that generate heat and can be wrapped around the conduit to prevent freezing. Regularly inspect outdoor electrical fittings for signs of ice damage, such as cracked or broken fittings. Take steps to address any ice damage promptly to prevent electrical faults. When selecting outdoor electrical fittings, consider the ease of installation and maintenance. Choose fittings that are easy to install and require minimal maintenance. Fittings with snap-on or quick connect features can save time and effort during installation. Fittings with removable covers or access panels allow for easy inspection and maintenance. Select fittings that are compatible with the conduit and conductors being used. Use appropriate tools and techniques for installation to prevent damage to the fittings. Regularly inspect outdoor electrical fittings for signs of wear and tear, and perform any necessary maintenance to ensure their continued performance. Keep the fittings clean and free of debris, and lubricate moving parts as needed. Follow the manufacturer's recommendations for maintenance and repair. By considering these factors and taking appropriate action, it is possible to ensure the safety and reliability of outdoor electrical installations. Remember to consult with a qualified electrician if you have any questions or concerns. It's important to remember that specific requirements can vary based on local electrical codes and regulations. Always consult the latest version of the NEC, as well as any local amendments or interpretations to ensure compliance. Local jurisdictions may have specific requirements for outdoor electrical installations, such as additional grounding requirements or restrictions on the use of certain materials. Contact the local building department or electrical inspector to obtain information on local requirements. Obtain any necessary permits before beginning any electrical work. Permits are required for many types of electrical installations, and failure to obtain a permit can result in fines or delays. Follow the permit requirements carefully and ensure that all work is inspected by a qualified electrical inspector. Keep records of all electrical work performed, including permits, inspections, and materials used. This documentation can be helpful for future maintenance or repairs. Ensure that all electrical work is properly labeled and identified. Label all circuits and equipment clearly and accurately to prevent confusion and ensure safety. Use appropriate warning signs and labels to alert others to potential electrical hazards. In addition to the specific measures discussed above, it is also important to consider the overall design of the electrical system. Ensure that the electrical system is properly sized to handle the expected load. Overloaded circuits can cause overheating and fire hazards. Use appropriate overcurrent protection devices such as circuit breakers or fuses to protect the electrical system from overloads and short circuits. Coordinate the overcurrent protection devices to ensure that they trip in the correct sequence. Use appropriate surge protection devices to protect the electrical system from voltage surges caused by lightning or other events. Consider the use of energy-efficient lighting and appliances to reduce energy consumption and save money. Install lighting controls, such as dimmers and occupancy sensors, to further reduce energy consumption. By considering these factors and taking appropriate action, it is possible to design and install a safe and efficient electrical system. Remember to consult with a qualified electrician if you have any questions or concerns. When dealing with electrical systems, it's always best to err on the side of caution and seek professional help when needed. Electrical work can be dangerous, and it's important to have the knowledge and skills to perform it safely. A qualified electrician can provide valuable guidance and ensure that all work is performed in compliance with applicable codes and regulations. They can also identify potential problems that you may not be aware of and recommend appropriate solutions. Hiring a qualified electrician can save you time and money in the long run by preventing costly mistakes and ensuring that the electrical system is installed correctly. They can also provide peace of mind knowing that the electrical system is safe and reliable. When choosing an electrician, be sure to check their qualifications and experience. Verify that they are licensed and insured, and ask for references from previous customers. Get a written estimate before beginning any work, and make sure that the estimate includes all costs, including labor and materials. Communicate clearly with the electrician and ask any questions you may have. By following these tips, you can ensure that you hire a qualified electrician who can provide you with the best possible service. Remember that electrical safety is paramount, and it's important to take all necessary precautions to protect yourself and others from electrical hazards. Always to energize the circuit before beginning any work, and use appropriate personal protective equipment. Follow safe work practices and never take shortcuts. If you are unsure of how to perform a task safely, consult with a qualified electrician. By following these guidelines, you can ensure that your electrical system is safe, reliable, and compliant with all applicable codes and regulations. Outdoor electrical installations require special attention due to their exposure to the elements. It's essential to use appropriate materials, techniques, and safety precautions to ensure the longevity and reliability of the electrical system. Remember to consult with a qualified electrician if you have any questions or concerns, and always prioritize safety when working with electricity. By doing so, you can create a safe and efficient electrical environment for your home or business.